Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, December 31, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. All right, so let us take a look at a video that we posted a month ago that was highlighting the amount of rainfall that we would have been experiencing during the month of December. Considering that today is the last day of December, let's see if it actually verified. So we can see that we're looking at this video that we posted on I believe it was the first day in December, if not the last day of November, highlighting the rainfall rates, whether it would have been average or above average. And we see the greens right there across sections of Jamaica that represent above average, somewhat above average rainfall for the month of December. And I guess we could say that that definitely verified, especially with that rain that we got in mid-December, not to mention the amount of rainfall that we've been recently getting from that cold front, especially on the north coast. However, what do the supercomputer models show for the month of January 2024? We can see that Jamaica, for the most part, is embedded in some whites. And we can see that by the key on the right, the whites represent average rainfall. So it's not greens that represent above average rainfall, it's not yellows that represent below average rainfall or little to no rainfall at all. But it should be average for the most part for Jamaica according to the climate forecast system. For the CANTIPS model, we're seeing more greens that represent slightly above normal rainfall for the same time period, January 2024. The NMME model is more in agreement with what the CFS is showing, with more whites that represent average rainfall. But we know that in terms of the rainfall that's expected for the month of January, we usually receive up to 97 millimeters of rainfall. We know that majority of that rainfall is usually confined to northern parishes, especially with that northeasterly flow through the windward passage, bring about a lot of relief rainfall, especially for Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, and with the occasional rainfall sometimes spilling into some southern parishes during the afternoon hours. So we'll see exactly what unfolds with that supposed forecast for average rainfall. Either way, if we actually take a look at what the models have been showing, hold on one sec. All right, before we even go to the models, let us take a look at what the CARICOF is showing, the Caribbean Climate Outlook Forum, in terms of the rainfall that's expected during the next couple of months. So January into February, we're seeing more in the way of some oranges, and we can see that by the key at the bottom. The oranges are representative of some below normal rainfall across the Jamaica area. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that. I believe what the Caracol is showing, especially with the rainfall that we're seeing in the forecast for January. It's quite depressing. However, we can see that we're starting to get an increase in rainfall as we head into the spring, March, April, May. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that when that time comes. Either way, if we take a look at the euro, and we're just going to be going on to the next 168 hours, that's the next 7 days, we can see that the line of showers associated with the cold front will still be here into Monday, even into Tuesday. We still have some amount of rainfall experiencing. Then, as we head into the latter part of the week, we see that we don't have much in the way of rainfall to that extent, more whites than anything else. So we're stopping right there at 168 hours on the euro. The GFS, let us see what we can find in terms of consensus. So we do see the greens represent rainfall into Tuesday, still having that rainfall lingering from that cold front. And then maybe an increase in rainfall Thursday into Friday. And then we see that the rainfall starts to taper off as we head into the end of the next 7 days. Either way, in terms of the rainfall totals for the next 7 days, we're already receiving all of that rainfall that we're seeing across Jamaica right now, courtesy of that cold front with all of those blues that represent above normal rainfall, not to mention the purples that are trailing all the way into portions of Central America, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and all of that is due to this cold front. This cold front, we have been anticipating this cold front. We've been talking about it. If you've been living under a rock, that's one of the main reasons why I haven't been posting on our YouTube page, because we actually made a post on our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook page highlighting this cold front. This was posted on the 27th of December, the 27th day of December. Tweet stated, awesome news, a cold front is set to sweep in its cool, windy, and wet vibes to parts of Jamaica this Sunday, December 31. Brace yourself for that cozy sweater weather, as temperatures might drop 2 to 3 degrees Celsius below the usual. And we actually saw that the cold front is expected to be to the west of Jamaica by the 30th of December. And we saw the blues that represented below average temperatures that would have brought, not to mention the strong winds coming in from the northeast through the windward passage, as well as the rainfall. And that was definitely what happened, especially across northern parishes. If we even take a look at the latest satellite images before the sun went down, we do see that we still have a lot of clouds, especially on the north coast of the island. Lots of wind, lots of rainfall. We even still see some amount of rainfall in the Cuban Doppler radar images, maybe affecting sections of St. Mary as we speak. As it relates to the temperatures right now, we can tell we're 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 5 a.m. on Monday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And we've definitely been having some reports of the weather that was predicted. If we actually even take a look at our Instagram page, we can actually see the comments flowing in regarding this cold front weather. So we can actually see right here. All right, so we can see right here on our Instagram page, Steffi underscore princess stating, yes, loving this weather, so happy. I hope it rains again in central Kingston. Then we had SDH Berry stating, nice little rainy night, cool Sunday morning. Samantha Grow stating, my type of weather, cool and wet here in St. James. Cornmeal Pirate stating, cold breeze and nicey. So that indeed confirms the rainfall that we just spoke of being experienced across the island. And as it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we're starting to see the cold air associated with the cold front starting to taper off more so towards the west and the north of the Caribbean. More in the way of grays that represent average temperatures is what is being forecasted for 18th on Monday. When we calculate that, that's about 1 p.m. on Monday. So the average temperatures return, and we're in January now. And we know the average temperature for the month of January about 86 to 87 degrees Fahrenheit. So almost the same as 30 degrees Celsius, if not 29 degrees Celsius. And that's exactly what is being forecasted for tomorrow, 29 to 30 degrees Celsius. As it relates to the dry air map, we can still see that we have a lot of dry air being experienced across the Atlantic, including Jamaica. We can see the dry air is represented by the key at the bottom, the yellows, oranges, and reds. And we do see a lot of that, especially behind that cold front near Jamaica, the Gulf of Mexico, the Western Caribbean, where we see all of those yellows, oranges, and reds. However, as it relates to the Sahara and dust forecast, for 2 p.m. on Monday, we do see that Jamaica should be in the clear, as all the browns that represent the Sahara and dust is across portions of the main development region. But it's not that vigorous or anything like that, considering that we only see those lighter shades of browns and we do see a lot of blues in there. So there's more moist air than anything else within that. As it relates to the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can say about the Euro and the GFS are showing 12 o'clock on a Monday, and we do see more so in the way of blues surrounding the island. And the blues represent anywhere from 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights, and that's because The winds are gonna be coming in, not that strong, but definitely on the north coast you're gonna be feeling it. Averaging anywhere from 15 to 20 knots, as we can see by the greens. The key at the bottom shows the the winds in knots. So the greens definitely 15 to 20 knot winds, if anything else. And we know these things go. We have the relief rainfall, especially for the north coast in Jamaica, and we know the relief rainfall is when we have all of that air coming in from the northeast. Then we have all of those clouds rising as it heads up into especially the hills of St. Mary, Portland, the Blue Mountains, especially. That's why we see more of that rainfall on the north coast rather than the south coast. So we could say that this side that has the rain shadow is the south coast, north coast is on the left hand side. So lots more rainfall expected for Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, as we've been receiving for the month of December, and this should continue throughout the winter. And with the upper level winds coming in from the west, southwest, or the southwest, it's definitely going to be favoring more of that rainfall, especially across northern Jamaica. So it's not like in October where we had that instance where we had those northeasterly winds and all of those thunderstorms on the south coast throughout the day. No, that's a different situation. We had more so some southerly or northerly wind shear coming in from the north that contributed to some of that rainfall on the south coast. But we're not having that at all for this time period, especially considering that it's winter. Either way, we do see the confirmation that we're gonna be receiving more in the way of rainfall. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS is valid for 4 a.m. on Monday, January 1, 2024. And we do see the blues that represent rainfall across sections of St. Mary, St. Anne, Portland, even sections of Eastern St. Thomas. Skipping ahead to about 8 a.m., we still see much of the same. Then at about 1 p.m., we're still having the same, just like what we saw earlier at 1 p.m. And even if we skip ahead, there's not much change. More so rainfall across definite sections of some northern and eastern parishes. So definitely maybe sections of St. Thomas, but more so Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James. Those are the areas that are going to be receiving the most in the way of rainfall. And we do see the accumulated precipitation forecast confirming this, with the more colors showing the more in the way of rainfall totals across those areas. GFS showing up to 0.56 of an inch of rainfall for the total. Euro showing up to 0.52. Either way, northern and eastern parishes are going to be getting the brunt of whatever rainfall that's to come. And we're indeed grateful. We're in the month of January. Well, we're about to step into the month of January now. We usually get up to 97 millimeters of rainfall during this month, and we know that majority of that rainfall is confined to the north coast. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get before we head into the driest month of the year, which is February. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we do see the clouds associated with that cold front stretching all the way from northern section of North Atlantic, all the way down into portions of the southern Bahamas, sections of the Turks and Caicos, eastern Cuba, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, sections of Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, getting in on all of that, where they're associated with the cold front. And if we take a look at the northeastern Caribbean, we don't see much happening right now, especially across the US and British Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. But we do see some spotty showers to the east of St. Kitts and Nevis, maybe across the waters around Antigua and Barbuda, east of Guadeloupe. We don't see much happening elsewhere, considering that we have a lack of Doppler radar to show. But if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we do see that flow coming in from the northeast. Some isolated showers to the north of Barbados, to the west of Barbados, mainly affecting sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines right now. As it relates to the wider view of Doppler radar images, we don't see much taking place right now, but we do see some isolated pockets of rainfall heading into sections of Belize, crossing sections of Venezuela, and even sections of Guyana. Not Venezuela, Colombia. As relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map is showing 18th on Monday. When you calculate that, that's 1 p.m. on Monday. Now we do see that we're going to be having those blues that represent below average temperatures across the Western Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, the Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas, Florida, majority of the eastern United States. But average to above average temperatures are going to be experienced across the majority of the Caribbean. So the southern, southwestern Caribbean, central, and eastern Caribbean, especially above normal to average temperatures. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday, we do see that majority of the Caribbean should be in the clear as all the dust associated with the Sahara Desert should be across the main development region, and it's not even that robust of a plume at all, considering that we have more light shades of browns that we're seeing. As it relates to the wave forecast, we do see that majority of the Caribbean should be getting in on those blues that represent 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights, and that's because the winds are not going to be that strong across majority of the basin, averaging anywhere from 10 to 20 knots. And we know wherever we see the yellows that they are gusting up to 25 knots, especially to the south of Haiti, to the north of Colombia as usual. And we do see the general flow coming in from the east northeast across the eastern Caribbean, more so from the northeast across the Greater Antilles. As it relates to the rainfall forecast, these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected during the next 24 hours. If it's not already raining right now, it's definitely going to be raining sometime within the next 24 hours between now and 10 p.m. on Monday. We do see the greens that represent some isolated rainfall in store for sections of eastern Cuba, southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, definitely northern Haiti, northern Dominican Republic, sections of the US and British Virgin Islands, sections of the Leeward Islands, so Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe that we just saw maybe getting in on some amount of rainfall. We can also see some rainfall coming into sections of Barbados, just like what we just saw on the Doppler radar images. Not to mention that rainfall that we just mentioned across sections of Guyana, eastern Venezuela, sections of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras. Look at all of that rainfall still in store for those areas. Sections of Belize as well. And we know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing something similar like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.